This episode of Nothing Important is brought to you by First Base and Beyond, the hilarious new book that defines the bases and expands the baseball metaphor for getting laid. A perfect gift for the holidays, bachelor parties, or just to have around to settle debates. Ever wonder what getting to third base really means? Get First Base and Beyond by going to www.firstbaseandbeyond.com. That's firstbaseandbeyond.com. Some of the proceeds also go to Save the Tatas. Firstbaseandbeyond.com. Copywritten by Brian of the Nothing Important Podcast.
You're listening to Nothing Important.
This episode is a follow-up interview with Chris Blinston of Spike TV's Ink Master.
Please enjoy the show. That's great. That works.
I am here.
I'm here.
All right, everybody's there. Look at that. See, I'm getting better at this iPhone thing.
Way to go, Brian. Way to go. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. A little frazzled this evening, but pulled it off, made some things work, and pretty excited to get this interview on.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
He's actually in a dark basement of a music venue right now just to talk to you.
I actually forgot my microphone, so I just went up to the stage box and grabbed an SM58 and ran back downstairs.
Awesome. Well, Chris, last time we spoke, it was like 2 weeks before the finale of Ink Master, and now like a bunch of it's been like probably about a month since the finale, maybe even longer. I don't know. Time flies, but
yeah.
I got to be honest, man, you got ripped off so bad.
Man, so robbed, You know, the funny thing is, there's a point in there where we were sitting here at home and we started thinking, this whole Cruzman thing is getting ridiculous with the free passes, the whole Say Sally thing. And then to watch that play out all the way into that and through that finale, it just got more and more ridiculous to the point where you can't even be mad when Spike pulls off a maneuver like that kind of a fake ending like that.
Yeah.
It's so badly done. They really blew it on the whole, how do you want to put it? If we're going to give somebody the win, you got to give somebody that's good the win. Right. And they didn't pick the right guy. No.
And Dave, I don't know if you saw, but Chris was doing this like gigantic, like pin-up, like racing themed back piece, and you were using like the skin tone of the canvas to kind of to be the skin tone of the I don't know, like it was like a lot of negative space and use of contrast, but like it was like poster quality work. Like it looked like somebody took a photograph and stuck it on this woman's back. And he lost to like some guy, I don't even remember what he was doing, like an elephant or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, he did what he does the whole show. He just did kind of a real simple traditional style tattoo, and we knew that's what he was going to come with. That's what he does. So the funny little joke was in my tattoo on the pinup girl tattoo on the back, I put a traditional tattoo arm tattoo on the pinup girl just to be a smartass. And they didn't show the clip, but in interview time back at my shop, prior to the finale, I actually made a big joke at Cruzman and said, you can do a big tattoo with that traditional stuff, but it's so easy. I'm going to do a little mini one for you.
That's awesome. So how has life changed for you since the end of the show? I mean, you were kind of like a well-known guy before. You were pretty established. Like, what's been going on since the show has ended?
Sure. Well, let's go on all the levels. Emotionally, roller coaster. So you have to kind of think when you go through this long process of the show, and then a long process of watching the editing and how everything got us to the finale. Then you watch the finale play out live, and then you walk out of there. And then, of course, mine was a weird ending, of course, with the whole, who I'm like the uncrowned non-winner. Cruzman's like the chump winner. So it's kind of like a crazy thing. Yeah. So I literally got, and I'm not exaggerating, fellas, but I probably got 40,000 comments about how I was robbed or this or that. So you have this huge roller coaster like that. And then you get home and it settles down a little bit, and then that kind of relaxes a little bit, and then you just get back into the daily grind. And it's kind of weird because now it's like I miss all that crazy weekly Tuesday night drama that you had to live through. And then I'll tell you guys, I got to call back for a couple of redemption episodes that are coming up soon. So,
nice. Oh, that's awesome.
It's like, yeah. So it's like a drug. So now it's like, all right, I got another hit. I got another hit coming, So it's weird. Yeah, it's definitely weird.
Well, like that, people are commenting, because game recognizes game, and people can see who's legit, and the support you're getting from people must be pretty satisfying.
It is. And as far as on a business level, I mean, our business has gone, through the roof. I don't have the time in the day to even respond to everybody, and I feel kind of bad sometimes because I'm missing a lot of comments that I could be making with people or conversations. But the support is just completely overwhelming. And especially for a guy like me that, although I was a well-known artist before, I was still kind of on a subtle level. I didn't have a lot of social media, and I have them all now, the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram. And man, it literally is a full-time job just keeping up with all that great stuff.
Oh yeah, people hire people to take care of that when they get to certain levels.
Oh, absolutely.
What's funny is I've never heard, like Ink Master is a pretty big show, but I've never heard anybody talk about it like casually, like people talk about sports casually, and like shows like Ink Master, it's typically like, hey, you watch Ink Master? Like, oh yeah, that's cool. I like this guy. And like, that's usually in a conversation. But after the finale at my work, people were like, dude, overalls guy got so robbed. And I knew exactly what they were talking about. And because we had talked like 2
right?
weeks. And I totally wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be like, I got his phone number. I'll like text him and let him know. But then I'm like, no, I can't.
We can call him right now.
Right. But I try not to let people at work even know that I do podcasts. Like I'll deny it to them. but it, like you really resonated with people. And I think it's because you weren't like over the top dramatic, and you weren't over the top cocky asshole. You were just kind of like on everybody in there, you seem like the one playing like the least caricature of themselves. And I think that really resonated with people.
Yeah. Minus a little bit of acting here and there. And like we had talked about last time, they push you to kind of want to act a little bit of scenes and stuff. They want to get some TV out of you, and you do your best. You really have a choice of deciding, hey, I really want to give them a little extra crazy shit, or I don't, and, but I think for the most part, there was only a couple guys on the show that really were just normal, good guys that were out there to really kind of kick some ass. And if you weren't there to kick some ass, you kind of went home fast.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I tell people too, is years and years and years ago, I actually made it through a couple of rounds of, I guess they were auditions for like some MTV spring break show. And I remember the producers for that is like, even in like the auditions round, I'm sure it was different for you, but I can only imagine once you actually make it to the TV, they'll ask you a question and you'll answer, and they'll say, okay, now answer it again, but put more emphasis on this part of it. And then so you record your response 3 times, and they're like, okay, well, when I ask the question, you need to phrase the question back to me. Like, so if I ask you what your favorite color is, you say, my favorite color is blue because, and then go on. Was there a lot of like that style of like retakes?
Oh, absolutely. That's, that's something that, again, the people at home will never ever see, but they feel out your personality in that first day or 2 or 3 that you first get there. They kind of know what you are. Like, for instance, me being a Marine. And a dad. Well, when we got there, I'm kind of like a mixed variety of all kinds of things, because my daily job is tattooing, but I have a family and 3 kids. And then my full-time volunteer job is I sit on the school board here in Palm Beach County, and I've been either the president or vice president of the PTA or PTO in the school board for about 5 years. So I put in about I put in about 600 or 700 hours every school year just doing volunteer work. And that's another, like I said, full-time job. Well, they wanted some of that as well, which we never got to see on TV. So every time we answered, like you just said, we would answer through the Marine Corps tough stuff, but then we would go right back and do it all again with dad, PTA, school board guy. And we never got to see that.
You know, and I bet I would actually love to sit on like a PTA meeting where you're kind of running things, because I'm sure it goes something like this. Like, no, we are having the bake sale next Wednesday.
Listen, you're not far off. I have definitely rubbed some of those ladies the wrong way many times. You have some quit on me. I don't. I only know one way, and that's get shit done. And my whole goal is to work there hard for the kids, so I could really care less, how many moms I piss off. But as long as I can make school a ton of money and sell a ton of cookies, who cares?
See, and that's great, and that's so admirable. And like I totally get, like, this is now my second time talking to you, but like I totally get like that sense of personality. Is like you're very genuine, and you just kind of like I think you see a lot of things as like, well, this is just what you got to do, right? Like you're
absolutely.
You guys like two peas in a pod to me.
Big, yeah. Well, I was raised military, and then I am military, so I didn't know any different. Like I always joke with people, I didn't live in my first civilian house until I was out of the Marine Corps myself at 24 years old. So I didn't even know that there was a difference between, colored people or gay people or straight people. I didn't even know there was a difference.
Right.
I just knew everybody lived in the same style house that lived next to each other, and everybody had a rank before a name. Like there was a Sergeant Blinston, So it was a strange life after 24 years old to now. So like you just said, look, there's only one way to do things. You just get it done right, move on to the next thing.
Well, that's good. So have you filmed these redemption episodes?
Nope.
I know you probably can't talk too much about it, but
yeah, no, we haven't done them yet. Actually next week they'll be here in Florida filming the personal stuff here, which is actually neat because these redemption ones, what it looks like they're starting to make them become is more of a personal story about us instead of about like the competition, which was Ink Master itself. These redemption looks like they'll be more about us. So they're going to come here to my house, maybe film the kids a little bit, maybe a little personal time before the next scene will be up there in New York doing the tattoo again. So we haven't filmed any of that yet, but they're coming up real soon in the next couple of weeks.
At least you have more than like
a
couple hours notice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my wife and I were talking about that the other night, and I was telling her because I got to be honest, my wife doesn't give a shit about my podcast. like she supports it. She supports it, and like she's like, yeah, no, totally go do your thing. But it's hilarious because like Dave and I, we've been lucky enough to talk to like legitimately like famous and well known people, and my wife will just be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's okay, cool, like right on. So anyway, we were talking about I was talking about how we were going to be on the phone, the phone with you again, and now I forgot the point of my story. So moving on.
Something your wife had to say about it.
I do that all the time.
I really
What makes you feel any better? Anytime I do anything great, my girlfriend just gives me the thumbs up and walks away. That's what I get.
like a cool story, bro. Like, well, I'm sure it'll come back to me. It was something about me and my wife were talking about something on the show, and I'm sure it'll come back to me. But one thing I know,
the leaving on short notice thing.
Maybe I don't know. I gotta think about it. But another thing we noticed is in the finale, were you wearing the overalls?
I was not wearing the overalls. That's a funny story with that. Yeah, with the whole thing. They denied the overalls. Now that's the
really
thing about that finale. Yeah, absolutely. We had sent in. I had switched to those blue ones that we had up there. One pair was mine, and the other ones they purchased while we were up there. I had found some black ones that were a little bit dressier. And they denied the overalls, and they wanted dress clothes. And I don't know what that was about. I don't know if they were trying to kind of kill the branding of the overalls or what, but they definitely eliminated that. That was it.
Because that was like the most striking thing, and I believe my wife and I were just like, "What? How come he's not wearing the dungarees?"
Right. Well, let me tell you guys. You guys will love this. This goes back to what we were first talking about. There's two things that I can't get past. Whenever I'm out in public, especially the mall and at Walmart, those two places I'm absolutely recognized all the time. It's just the craziest thing to me because I'm not like a real celebrity. It's just a TV show and Spike. But the two things that are always yelled out to me, it doesn't matter if it's 10 rows away, I will get either, hey, where the hell are the overalls? And then the other one was you were robbed. And I don't even know the people. They're just screaming that at me.
That's pretty awesome.
That's the funniest thing. Like you said before, iconic, the overalls. So.
Totally. And how are you adjusting to like that kind of notoriety? Like how are you adjusting to, because I mean, millions of people have watched on TV. So, I mean, you have at the very least a recognizable, face. Like, do you just like brush that off, or are you kind of weird about that?
It depends on the day and it depends on the person. Now I got, like for instance, today's a good example. We were at the mall a couple times today shopping for Christmas, getting ready for the holidays. And I got recognized about 6 or 7 times. A couple people are usually pretty good about it. One girl worked at the Hot Topic store, and she talked to me for 4 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes about the show before she made a point of saying she knew who I was. So it just felt like she was just kind of having a conversation with me. So some people are a little more shy. Other ones, they're not shy at all. They will come running right over and almost tackle you so they can get a photo with you. I had one of those say too. But, the hardest part for me is, like I said, I'm a small town guy from Nebraska originally. This is all, way over my head for the most part. Mm-hmm. And what my girlfriend noticed the other day was that she said a lot of times when they're talking to me, I can't look at them, that I'm kind of like looking around or looking at the floor. Like I'm embarrassed. And I said, I don't even know I'm doing that. So it must be just my reaction to all the attention.
It's that whole like Midwest, like oh shucks kind of thing,
Right, exactly. That's a good way of putting that. Exactly.
Because like, and I've always thought of that too, because Dave and I, when we had a band, obviously we were definitely nothing famous at all, but every once in a while people would ask me for autographs after a show, and I'd be like, what, me? Why? Like, what the hell?
Right.
Yeah. And I always thought, like, because I'm pretty self-aware, but like, I always thought, like, too, if I had like real notoriety and real fame, I still feel I would be one of those people that would be just like a little off-put by that. Like, why do these people like want me to write my name on a piece of paper?
Right.
Yeah. Agreed. Same thing.
That's just being humble.
So many people buy a t-shirt and do the same thing.
Yeah. What were you saying, Dave?
I said that's just being humble. Like,
yeah. I don't know, but then if you knew me in real life, like I people definitely do not think I'm humble at all. So.
Well, there goes. Then the only way to explain that is the all shucks syndrome.
Yeah, the all shucks thing.
I like it.
Like if somebody like, I have no problem getting attention, but if somebody like heaps it upon me, I'm like, like, okay, like tone the spotlight down, This is kind of fun. Coming February 2016, Dave and I actually have like a 4-show stint on an AM radio station in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, no kidding. Nice, man.
Yeah, I know that. I know that's the other side of the state, but don't be surprised if Dave and I call you up to be on the show.
Please do, man. Call me up. Are you guys actually doing it from up there in the Midwest, or are you going to be actually in Tampa?
We're gonna record it up here.
I'm gonna keep talking over Brian.
Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something. No, we're doing a live on tape thing. We're gonna tape it, but we're gonna structure it like it's gonna be live, and that way, if we mess up, we can make our edits, and then we'll just send them the show to broadcast.
Fantastic. Yeah, Ben, feel free to call me if you guys want me on. I'd be happy to do it.
Absolutely.
You never know. You'll be driving through Clearwater or Bradenton one day, and you'll be like, "Oh man, I know those idiots."
That's awesome.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for chatting with us. I really just wanted to follow up after the show. I've been dying just to be like, oh man, I just want to tell him he was robbed. I'm like, that's such fucking bullshit. So I'm glad I finally got to tell you, like, not really face to face, but I guess phone to phone, that I feel you were robbed and your tattoo is awesome. And, hopefully me and my wife, we go to Florida 2-3 times a year. Hopefully we can run into each other sometime.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate the support and the love, and I agree with you. I definitely got robbed on that one, and I hope I get a chance to go back in there and kind of smash some of those guys a little bit more like I did during the season itself, Anytime you're down in Florida, man, look me up. We'll be happy to go hang out.
Absolutely.
All right, right on. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Blinston from Ink Master. Thank you so much, Chris.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Be sure to follow Nothing Important online at nothingimportantpodcast.com. Find us on iTunes, on Twitter at NotImportantPC, and you can also find us on Facebook. Nothing Important is recorded with help from Third City Sound in Joliet, Illinois. Thanks for being awesome.